Yo, Descendants, Augiesaint here and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I want to talk to you guys about PERMA INVIS Sharen with the Perforator right now. It is able to solo Void Erosion 30 quite easily and with a respectable time as well. I'm sure you can easily get this under a 10-minute clear. The best clear I've gotten so far is 10 minutes and 15 seconds. I think we are rank 5 right now on Sharen. Just a massive shout out to Plain as well. I think he is number 3 right now, so shout out to him. He is who actually developed this build or discovered this build. I'll have his link down below in the video, so go check him out, drop him a like, follow, subscribe, all that beautiful stuff. He is the go-to Sharen main, so if you want to know everything about Sharen, go check him out. We're just covering Sharen as well because I do find her fun, and I think this is a pretty easy way for you guys to help yourself to get through Void Erosion 28 and 29, because that seems to be where most people get stuck. As well as if you guys just want like straight up help, come join the streams over at twitch.tv/Augiesaint. We are live 6 days a week, as well as right here on YouTube. We dual stream as well. So drop on by if you guys need a hand with 28 to 29. Otherwise, if you want to give it a shot yourself, I think this Sharen build is actually one of the easiest ways to get through, just because you can permanently stay invisible throughout the whole run. And you focus really on just critting, because when you crit, you have a 30% chance to go like reactivate your ambush or your camouflage. So you stay invisible. And then you pair that with the Perforator that has crazy high crit chance to begin with, as well as crazy high AoE, because that's what you're obviously lacking. Most options when you go through Void Erosion is it gives you good AoE, but there's no CC or there's no way to stay alive. So that's why the 28-29 is so tough, because you either lack CC or you lack AoE, but you have CC. So all of this put together, you don't have CC, but you're invisible and you do have AoE because the Perforator just slaps massive explosions. And it does really good single target damage as well, so it can easily take care of the elites while clearing out the mobs while you stay invisible. Really fun and powerful build overall. So without further ado, let's just hop straight into it. We will start out with the Perforator, obviously, because it's very important that you get these rolls. You want to get yourself a firearm crit hit rate core, a critical damage, rounds per magazine, fire rate, and then bonus firearm attack versus whatever legion it is. I have actually spec'd mine now for level 30 because we are just farming level 30s. So I have mine set up for that. Obviously, if you are doing 28-29, you want to change over to whatever the Legion is there. I think it's Legion of Truth, maybe. Just double check. It will actually tell you if you come right here to the Void. 28, Order of Truth. Yeah, so it is the Order of Truth, guys, and they're weak to electric. So make sure you build your Perforator for that, if that is, you know, what level you are doing. Otherwise, if you're farming 30, this is the build we're using. And then also we have crit on the bottom and crit damage again, because this build solely relies on critting, so you can re-initiate your ambush, so you can just stay invisible all the time. And then we also have bonus firearm attack versus Legion on the bottom, and then firearm attack just for flat boost, because that's like the only real way to boost the explosions on the Perforator. That's what it literally makes me pull my hair out with the Perforator, is there's so many good mods you can use on this thing, but like so many of them don't work with the explosions. Like Real Life Fighter, for example, you shoot, you get the buff, and then as soon as your explosions hit the enemies, boom, away goes your buff, because your explosions are not considered a weak point hit, so it just resets, so you pretty much can't use that mod. The dopamine thing, this only lasts for one shot, doesn't affect your explosions. There's so many things that just don't affect your explosions, so it's really annoying to try and build for explosions. That's why the best thing to do is just to build as much crit damage as you can and as much firearm attack, because that does scale the explosions. And then I think element also does go into explosion. I'm not 100% on that, but I have added in element dead because I just like the extra build up. Plus we also are using the Polar Knight set instead of the Acrobat set that Plain is actually using in his version. You want to use the Acrobat set, and it gives you 21% firearm crit rate. But I've tested this so many times, and I can show you guys right now our crit rate on our Perforator. If we have a look, there is at 45.14%. And then if we go ahead and smack on this Acrobat set real quick, was at 45%, now it's at 49%. So it's giving us like 4% crit. So it's not amazing amount of crit, although it does help with that, you know, 4% crit chance you gain. I feel like it's not as valuable as having the Polar Knight set, because you gain all of that crit damage as well. You do get a little bit of firearm attack there as well. So if we have a look now, our firearm attack is 163, 49 crit. And if we go and switch back to our Polar Knight set real quick, let me just put all the Polar Knights on. This one right here. So it was 160. So yeah, you lost 2k firearm attack, and we lost like 4% crit chance, but we gain all of this crit damage from the Polar Knight set, because you get a massive amount of crit damage. And then when defeating an enemy inflicted with frostbite, also does a little explosion of 12.2% of their max HP to other enemies within a 2.5 meter radius at a 30% chance as well. So this doesn't happen all the time, but it just adds on top of the Perforator explosions and stuff. It's really close between which set you want to run. The next thing I actually want to try out is going Annihilation, and then trying to get my HP below 50% on purpose, because I feel like that ultimately will be the best setup for the most amount of damage, but it just takes quite a bit of management because you have to try and keep your HP under 50%, as well as then, you know, like running Walker Tightrope. But the difference between the Acrobat and the Polar Knight set, to me, literally felt within like 10-15 seconds of each other. It really depends on the run. You get a nice smooth run where all the elites and stuff stack up together, then you can like mow them down faster and all the little mobs and things. So it's really RNG at the end of the day at the run. I'm still getting 100% crit chance even with the Polar Knight set. When I am in stealth, I am just getting all of that crit. So to me, that's really dealer's choice. Run it if you want. I'm going to go with Polar Knight set because I do like the increased crit damage. I feel like it's a little bit of a higher boost. When I was running this set, I got, I think 3.2 million crits was my crits on the elites. And then running the Acrobat set, I was getting 3 million crits. So for me, that clearly does a bit more damage. So we are going to run with the Polar Knight set. And then the mods on the Perforator, let's hop into that. We are running Fire Rate, Weak Point Sight, as well as Weak Point Expansion, just because there really is nothing else to put there. You can also run Payout. I was running Payout quite often, and again, the difference is minute. However, the Weak Point Expansion does feel really powerful when it procs because it makes your Perforator do like a large shot every 5 seconds when you hit that weak point, which you're going to be trying to go for the weak point all the time. Go for headshots. That is a weak point. I don't think weak point affects the explosions, but it does affect the massive chunk of the first shot from the Perforator itself. So that's how we can do like those 3.2 million hits, and that's going to chunk away the elites. So that's why it's really nice to actually run with that. And then just about a weak point as well over there with weak point side, because there's really nothing much else we can do. We can't really gain more crit damage or firearm attack, which would be ideal. So that is what it is. And we're running better concentration, better insight, crit chance, crit damage, action, reaction, and rifling reinforcement just for firearm attack. Then we are running bullet integration for firearm attack as well as crit hit damage. Now you might be asking why we're not running concentration priority. The crit damage over there is only 36% because it is impact rounds. If it was general rounds, it would be a no-brainer. Run that definitely over bullet int, because this would then give you 120% crit damage, but the impact rounds kind of get scuffed. So we also use this because we do still maintain 10% crit damage, so we get a little bit of crit damage out of it. So that's the reason why we use bullet integration over conk, because it's a much lower critical damage on the concentration from impact rounds. And then bullet integration is also giving us firearm attack, and as we said before, firearm attack will buff the explosions on the Perforator as well. So that is like one of the best ways to boost their damage is with crit damage and firearm attack. And then we also have chill enhancement there, just giving us a little bit more chill damage. Obviously you want to switch that out to electric if you are doing level 28 and 29. And then lastly, we're running inside focus, and yet again you're probably going to ask why we're running inside focus over edging shot, because you can see the difference there. 29% crit rate over inside is giving us 13, so it's about just a little bit less than half of it, but we are gaining firearm crit damage on this, and with edging shot we are losing firearm attack, so it's making our explosions do less damage. And the crit chance really is not much different. Again, you can see we're at 45. We go ahead and we smack in edging shot real quick, 45, and now we are at 48. So it's not that massive difference. We are getting pretty much full uptime on crits as long as we're in our ambush, as long as we're invisible and we're hitting headshots. We are getting full crit with the Polar Knight set as well as with inside over edging shot. So that is how we're running that, because the more firearm attack and the more crit damage you can get, the more your explosions are going to do. Now let's have a look at Sharen's modules. Nothing really too important. Yeah, the main thing is to try and just get as much cooldown as possible. So MP conversion, nimble fingers, and then focus on electric fusion. Doesn't matter what focus mods you run there. So just match whatever polarities you have. You don't have to level them up either, since we're only using them for the cooldown. This build is not using skill power at all. So these 4 mods right here are pretty much the only mods you need. Our shot focus does help quite a bit by giving you more firearm attack, because it's going to make your Perforator do quite a bit more damage. We have stim accelerant and increased HP, and we also have maximized duration, just to make the duration of the camouflage last a little bit longer, so you can get those headshots in and start resetting the cooldown. And then the most important mod actually is ambush. I almost forgot to mention it. So this is unfortunately exclusive to Ultimate Sharen, so you can only do this build with that. And ambush is the reason we can stay in our camouflage. Let's have a look at our passive here. While in active camouflage, defeating enemy or landing a critical hit has a 30% chance to reactivate camouflage. And when you're in camouflage, defeating an enemy using a skill resets the active camouflage cooldown. So when you kill an enemy while you are stealth, it will instantly reset the cooldown. So it means you can hit it again as soon as you break stealth. And then it also has a 30% chance to make stealth automatically re-trigger, so you can get the full duration again. That's why having that little bit of duration is pretty nice. So you should definitely pace your shots and always try and go for the crit headshots, because they'll do the most amount of damage, as well as going to help you reset or like reactivate active camouflage. You can stay invisible. And then another really interesting thing about this camouflage, if you have a look at ambush, there is a duration of 15 seconds, but it increases your outgoing damage by 100%, and it also gives you 22% firearm crit hit rate. So if we have a look at how that actually works, it says attacking an enemy or ending active camouflage triggers ambush, and then using a firearm or skill while in ambush applies the effect and ends it. But as far as I understand is when you use a firearm or a skill, it takes away the buff. Let me show you guys in the background. There's camouflage buff is on the left, and now when I deactivate camouflage, we'll get the ambush buff. You see we have the hand pop up. I shoot once. Now the buff should be gone, right? But when we actually stay invisible by just getting multiple crits, for whatever reason, the buff never comes and disappears. We just keep it and we just do crazy amounts of damage while we are stealth. So that is just one little thing that I want to point out to you guys there. You can see our Polar Knight stacks also stacking up there. So that is why I prefer Polar Knight. Does so much more damage. But that ambush to me, I'm not sure if it's working as intended. Or maybe it is working as intended. I'm just misreading it. But that is why it's very important to get your stealth and keep your stealth, because you do 100% more damage, as well as 22% increased crit rate. And I believe that may be a flat amount. So with our almost close to 50%, we should be getting quite a large boost of firearm crit there. So that's how we do so much damage. And then the last two mods I threw in here is heat release, just because we are doing level 30. So, you know, it'll make us burn immune for whenever we do get hit if we go out of stealth, just to help you not burn away. And then we're also running improved drive shaft, just because this thing is so busted right now. I'm not sure if it's this one or only the fire rate drive shaft, but even if they weren't busted, we are rolling quite often. When you do roll, you have a 15% chance to trigger that 26% firearm attack. So nice little boost there. So roll as much as possible. Also, when you are reloading, you can reload cancel like the animation with the roll. Also, animation cancel the camouflage. So rolling quite often is pretty good because you will get the buff. You see there, we just got the buff and boom, we just hit for a massive amount of damage. So that is why running that. Again, totally not necessary. The only mods you do need 100%, the ambush, and then all these cooldown mods, and then obviously the HP mods there, just so you don't get one shot if you do dip out of stealth for a moment. The reactor, it really doesn't matter what you got. I have cooldown and duration up. If you really want to min-max, you could get cooldown and maybe skill cost. However, even having two mods that reduces my MP, that reduces my MP by 15%, as well as MP conversion. We are like a tiny MP pool. I never run out of MP while I am doing it, because, you know, we are staying in stealth for quite long periods of time, so we don't really have to recast it all that much. And then lastly, for inversions, I just run the HP one over there. You want to run the chill more rounds there, or whatever rounds you are doing, depending on the level. And then I like to use selective neurostim just to help out with like giving a little boost of MP every now and then. Or you could run heightened sensory cells. This will give you more HP. However, I really don't find myself needing HP because most of the time we're going to be invisible. So I just go with neurostim. That is going to be it for the video. So if you guys have any ideas or suggestions to make the build better, drop down below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about the PERMA INVIS Sharen. Really fun. And I think she might be one of the best Descendant, or like one of the best builds moving forward once we actually get the much higher void erosions, which I'm probably going to assume they're going to one-shot you. I mean, can you guys imagine void erosion 40? That's gonna, you know, beat your face in. So going invisible, I think, is gonna be the key. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, please drop a like and a sub to the channel. It helps me out so much, and I'll catch you beautiful people in the next video, as well as the live streams. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying